everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. This is a show we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. I am your host, Sean McGahee, and I am super excited about this week's episode because I feel like we have some really good topics to talk about. Some good discussion I think will be had. And I am joined, of course, by the always enchanting Miss Lisa Locke McGahee.
Hello.
All right, guys. So, some good stuff happened this week, or last week per se. But there is some good stuff happening this week and all month long. And that's kind of the first thing I want to talk about a little bit is all the good little geeky stuff that's going on. This month, in theaters, we have a highly anticipated film coming out every week. Last week or so, we had Logan. This week, past weekend, we had Kong Skull Island. This week, we got Beauty and the Beast. Then you got Power Rangers and Ghost in the Shell. So, some good movies coming out. But on top of that, this Friday, Iron Fist premieres on Netflix. Super excited about it. Also, it's St. Patrick's Day. It's just going to be a plethora of awesome weekendness, included with the Star Wars Rebels episode featuring Obi-Wan versus Maul. This weekend, I cannot wait for it to get here. It's going to be totally awesome. But on top of that, for those of you who are listening for the first time, this is how I go, guys. I'm going to run down some stories. Start off with some Marvel and DC. Then we go to Star Wars, maybe Harry Potter if we have any. And then miscellaneous. Lisa and I then discuss them. And, of course, you guys fire back on social media, whether it be the Facebook group, Twitter, our Gmail account, whatever. Let us know what you think as well. And I'm rambling on a bit. So, Lisa, just to comment real quick, what do you think about this upcoming weekend? Are you excited?
I am excited. I'm not as excited
minus
as
the
you
Iron
are,
Fist. Minus the Iron Fist. I know you're excited for the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited for the other stuff.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, guys, we're going to jump right into it then, starting off with some Marvel news. And as you know, like I say, the name of this podcast does come from X-Men reference, so if there's any X-Men news, I do like to start off with that. So, speaking with Deadline, producer Simon Kinberg was talking about Logan and kind of the future of the X-Men movie franchise on top of that. And of course, the subject came up of X-Force, and he said, quote, "The X-Force is a combination of Deadpool and Cable. They're like the Black Ops of the X-Men. They're much darker and have an R-rated decibel. There are other X-Men characters coming into X-Force at different times in the comics, but it's separate from the X-Men." Now, this, of course, came into the subject matter of talking about R-rated comic films. Because of Logan, another R-rated film, much like Deadpool, being a highly success both critically and financially, the story of come up, of course, is, making more R-rated comic book films. And to that, Kinberg said, quote, "Should a story be readily told in a PG-13 fashion, it should be for creative, not business reasons. The success of Deadpool and Logan has bolstered our confidence to make edgy, more daring, provocative, bold movies that audiences will embrace. More than that, we feel the responsibility to make bold and provocative movies." Now, X-Force is just one of several movies on the slate for Fox in regards to the X-Men franchise. Other ones include a New Mutants movie, a Gambit film with Channing Tatum, which has kind of been stuck in limbo for a while, and then the sequel to X-Men Apocalypse, which is subtitled X-Men Supernova, as we learned is not the real title. But this whole story I brought up because it's all coming up now. Back when Deadpool came out, people brought up the subject of R-rated comic book movies and like, oh, R-rated is why it was so good. Stupid people like that are saying that again about Logan. I highly disagree about that. I think these movies, they're R-rated because the character calls for it. They weren't good because they were R-rated. They were good because they were true to the character. And that's there have been plenty of R-rated comic book films that I could list that were not financially successful. I think what's happening is these movies were true to the characters, that these characters live in an R-rated world. I mean, Deadpool kills people, Logan kills people. That's why, they're true to the characters. They tell a good story, which is why they were so successful. Agree or disagree, Lisa?
Well, I've said this 1,000 times. I completely agree. I think that those films are successful, like you said, not because they're R-rating for the sake of being R-rated. They're R-rated because that's what the story warranted. There have been many, many, many very successful PG-13 superhero films. It doesn't have anything to do with the rating. It has to do with the quality of the film.
Yeah, the Marvel Studio films aren't exactly hurting, and those are all PG-13.
Exactly. Deadpool, you could not possibly have made a good Deadpool movie that was not R-rated. It wouldn't have It wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, the character calls for it with the violence and the swearing and stuff like that. You know, you take that stuff out.
Yeah.
It might have been okay, but it wouldn't have been as good.
It wouldn't have been okay. It wouldn't have been good. It would have been. They would have been trying too hard to be something Deadpool was not.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's the thing with the Logan movie. If you look, I mean, and this is totally different, but if you compare the Logan to the previous Wolverine movies that were not R-rated, those movies weren't very good.
Yeah.
And part of that was the story. They didn't have. I mean, I didn't particularly like any of the other Wolverine movies.
See, I liked X-Men Origins was of course horrible, but the Wolverine,
it was okay.
I liked the director's cut, and guess what? That was an R-rated too. So
yes, I mean, I think there are certain characters like Wolverine, like Deadpool, and I'm sure there are many others that they just an R rating suits them. I don't think it's but it's not. You can't go through now and just try to make everything R-rated. I mean, you try to make an R-rated Captain America movie, that'd be so ridiculous.
I saw there was a list online. One of the websites to go to, and somebody made a list of like superheroes or comic book characters who need an R-rated film, and I just clicked on it, and the first one they had was Superman. I was like, nope, exit out. That's stupid.
He's like the freaking Boy Scout. He does not even R-rated.
Yeah, not even Batman needs an R-rated film because those characters don't. Mainly because they don't kill. You know, they're not about that. Especially Superman. I mean, you know, truth, justice, the American way, the Boy Scout. He doesn't need an R-rated. Live in PG-13 land, that's fine. But
yeah, I mean, it's like same thing I said, like with Captain America and like, you know, those characters. They don't need an R-rated film. Those characters are not R-rated. It just isn't. I mean, it just drives me crazy every time this comes up and people start doing that. It's not a.
Yeah.
Logan was a good movie. It was a very good movie that just happened to be R-rated.
Yeah, just the story called for, you know, those things that would make it R-rated. And one thing we think about this week too, as far as the Marvel Netflix series, you know, we got Iron Fist coming out, and if you look at the other series that are out there, I wouldn't call them. You know, they're able to do more edgier stuff because they're on Netflix versus being on, you know, ABC or CW or whatever. But I wouldn't even call most of them R-rated. Like you have Luke Cage and Season 1 Daredevil. I would definitely call that PG-13. Jessica Jones might be towing the line a little bit. But the only season so far that I would call R-rated would be Daredevil Season 2. Why? Because you have the Punisher. And the Punisher is a character who kills, you know, for justice. He's a violent character. And that's the only reason, you know, you put that character in there. Yeah, you got to make it R-rated because of the character type. Because if you want to stay true to that character, you got to, you know, have him killing people. And that's your R rating. Whereas versus Daredevil Season 1, that's not that character. I mean, Daredevil is kind of a darker character. But again, he still doesn't kill. He still doesn't, you know, have that intensity for an R rating, which is why I would say Daredevil Season 1, PG-13, Daredevil Season 2, definitely rated R because of the Punisher, because of staying true to that character. So, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, kind of playing off that a little bit, sticking to the X-Men world, Ryan Reynolds went on Twitter this last week and announced the actress who will be playing Domino in the upcoming Deadpool sequel is none other than actress Zazie Beetz. I probably mispronounced that, as I do most things. But anyway, she's an actress in Atlanta. She played Donald Glover's girlfriend, Vanessa, in the FX series, which earned 2 Golden Globe Awards, including one for Best Television Series, Musical, or Comedy. Now, Reynolds did this where he did a picture of dominoes, and then the domino dots spelled out the actress's name, and then in the caption it said Domino Effect. So it's kind of how they announced this actress was going to play this character. Domino, of course, for those of you who don't know, was introduced in 1992 and is a genetically engineered mutant conceived as part of a secret United States government program called Project Armageddon, devoted to creating perfect human weapons. Now, Domino can physically alter random variables, such as causing her opponents' guns to misfire or, you know, malfunction, stuff like that. Basically, change perceived luck of her foes, kind of her mutant power. She's often teaming up with Cable and Deadpool, which is safe to say she'll probably be in the X-Force movie as well. Deadpool sequel is going to be directed by David Leitch, and it's targeted for a release of 2018. Now, I'm not really familiar with this actress because I haven't watched Atlanta yet, although a lot of people are telling me to watch it, and I'm planning on getting to it. I just haven't gotten there yet. You're not familiar with the actress either, are you?
No, I don't.
The thing that surprises me about this is that they announced Domino before they announced Cable.
Yeah, that's what I figured the story was really about.
Yeah.
The fact that they haven't announced
You know where I was
Cable
getting with
yet.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, obviously, it's going to be... That's the big casting news. Everyone wants to know Cable. Because now there's like a dozen people whose name have been thrown out for Cable. And, I think he's going to be a bigger part of the film than what Domino will. So I'm just surprised they announced this before they announced Cable. They're holding that card. I think they've already cast Cable, to be honest. They're just waiting for the right time to announce it. Now, whether it's going to be a couple months at Comic-Con or sooner, I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to think of any Marvel thing they can attach it to, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head besides Iron Fist that's going to come out between now and summertime, really. So I don't know, but like I said, I did find it weird. As far as the casting, I haven't seen anything, so I really can't judge it. By the time I see the movie, I'm sure I'll have seen Atlanta, hopefully, so I can get a better idea of this actress's capabilities. The look-wise, though, she'll be fine with the part. I mean, Domino's got the white makeup and stuff like that, so in any event, I'm fine with this. It is weird nowadays how they do announce stuff via Twitter. And Ryan Reynolds, I mean, he's...
Well, not everyone does that. Ryan Reynolds is doing this primarily. Look at how he marketed Deadpool in the first place. I think he's trying to do another.
Well, there are several, Ryan Reynolds. I know The Rock does it a lot on social media, and so does Vin Diesel, where these actors or actresses who are kind of the head of the franchise or so, they're allowed to do this kind of stuff. I maybe gets more people more psyched. I don't know, but
it's a different group of people.
It's a different group of people, different way to advertise, maybe reach, different people. So, in any event, so there you have that, guys. All right, so moving on to our next piece of Marvel news. Entertainment Weekly released photos from the upcoming Thor Ragnarok film. Featuring Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie, Jeff Goldblum's Grandmaster, and Kate Blanchett as Helena. So according to Marvel Studios, Thor Ragnarok is going to see the character kind of a little bit out of his depth in this one. So Jeff Goldblum's Grandmaster is going to be running kind of the planet Scar, which is, quote, a wormhole across the galaxy in the universe where all the trash is dumped out. Now, Goldblum's Grandmaster is said to be a pleasure seeker, an enjoyer of life and taste and smells. He said he's very ancient, is considered an elder of the universe, a cosmic being with extensive knowledge, and in the comics he's known for his love of games and has set various Marvel heroes and villains against one another in battle. Now, according to the official synopsis, Thor is imprisoned on the other side of the universe without his mighty hammer and finds himself in a race against time to get back to Asgard to stop the event known as Ragnarok, the destruction of his home world, and the end of Asgardian civilization. Now, this is all being spearheaded by Kate Blanchett's Hela, who has been locked away for millennia, getting more and more cross, and then, with a mistake, she gets unleashed, and she ain't getting back in that box. Thor Ragnarok is set to come out November 3rd, 2017. It's going to be directed by Takai Waititi. I, again, totally mispronounced that. But in any event, did you see the pictures?
I've seen a picture of Thor.
Okay, well, that's all you care about,
that's
right?
All. That is probably a true story in the end. He had short hair, and he looked very nice.
That's what I figured. I figured that you want to see that. But yeah, the Helena was very good. Kate Blanchett, she had a lot of makeup on. She had green on. So immediately I was kind of comparing her to Elizabeth Banks in the new Power Rangers movie where she's wearing the green and the black hair and stuff like that. But
yeah, but it's Kate Blanchett.
It's Kate Blanchett, yes, exactly.
I mean, no offense to Elizabeth Banks, but
yeah,
it's Kate Blanchett.
And you did see one picture of Loki. Now, allegedly, I think I heard that Loki, he's running Asgard as well, disguised as Odin, and it's kind of through his fumble, I guess, that Helena is released.
What is her name?
Hela.
Okay, you keep saying Helena.
I know. I keep mispronouncing. Whatever.
Is it Hela or is it
Hela?
Hela?
H-E-L-A.
Is it pronounced Hela?
Hela.
It's not pronounced like Hela or
it's
Hela.
Like hella cool.
I mean, is it really pronounced that way?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I can't even pronounce director's name. You think I'm going to be as precise on this? Come on now. Mm-hmm. You give me too much credit.
No, I'm not giving you any credit. See how I'm judging you right now?
Always judging. Always judging. Look at the baby. Look at the baby.
Go ahead.
Okay, back to the actual story now. So we saw pictures. We got some story. Honestly, again, I wasn't excited about this film, but now I'm getting more excited, mainly because this highly resembles a storyline they're currently doing in the comics called The Unworthy Thor. So in the comics right now, Thor, he's not being called Thor, he's called Odin's son, because somebody else is Thor, the god of thunder. Somebody else has Mjolnir, not him.
Somebody else has Mama?
Yeah, exactly. And basically what happened at the end of, I believe it was Fear Itself storyline, I believe is what it's called. Oh, anyway, but yeah, the Watcher whispers something in Thor's ear. His eyes get real big, like he heard a big secret, and he drops the hammer. And since then, he has been unworthy to pick up the hammer. So he goes around for several months or so, drinking and feeling sorry for himself.
Is this kind of like those videos that have been going around where he's like at the beach?
I don't know. Not exactly. Not exactly. I don't think it's exactly like that.
Those videos are pretty funny, though.
But anyway, so he's going around the comics, feeling sorry for himself, and then he realizes that Asgard is in trouble, so he tries to, get back into the game, and so he knows that his old hammer, he's not, it's being put to use right now by the current Thor, so he's trying to look for another way to save Asgard, and he finds another Thor's hammer from another universe, and he's trying to get to. And along the way, he's, getting the trials and tribulations. He actually gets picked up by the Collector, Benicio del Toro's character from Guardians, who's trying to collect him as, Odin's son as well. So he's got to fight his way through that. And right now in the comics, he finds a way to the new hammer. Whether he'll be worthy of picking that up, we don't know. But again, just the look of, he looks exactly like he does in the current comic storyline. So I feel they kind of go that way, where he's going to go through a bunch of trials and misadventures in the film before he can actually pick up the hammer again. So it'll be fun. I think I've never been a big fan of Thor. I've said the Thor comics I'm not really into, but ever since Jason Aaron started writing it, I've really enjoyed it, especially the newer stuff with Lady Thor, as they call it. And then, of course, they have this one, which is the Unworthy Thor, which is really good. So if even, you're curious at all, guys, I recommend going pick up anything by Jason Aaron with Thor in it. It's really good stuff. So
Yeah, I've always liked the Thor film. I really liked the first Thor film. The second one I didn't love. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. But I love the first Thor. It's a great film. Given
the cast and what I think the story is going to be about, I think I'm going to enjoy this one a lot more than the last one, Thor: The Dark World. Plus, Jane Foster is nowhere in this film, so...
Well, she wasn't the problem with the last film. The problem was they tried to insert her in places she didn't belong in the last film. That's one thing I thought worked really well with the first Thor, was the human characters, the way that they had them fit in with Thor. It was very natural, it worked. The bit with, Jane and her team.
Yeah, interacting with, Darcy.
Right, with Darcy. The way that they interacted with Thor and his people, I thought it was very appropriate. The second one is that they kept trying to take Jane and put her into things and situations where she didn't belong. And then it just kind of felt like it was pushed, it was... They were just trying to wedge her in, and it just felt it didn't feel natural. Right. It didn't feel natural, right? And even in the Avengers movie when they tried to insert the doctor guy. Thor,
I know what you're talking about.
Even that didn't really make any sense. It's they keep trying to insert these characters from Thor who don't fit in those scenes into those scenes.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so I'm hoping that this one will get away from that and they'll kind of go back to, I'm fine if it has human characters. They just need to fit. Thor is a cosmic type character. He doesn't need to have a human sidekick.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He
needs to have a cosmic sidekick.
Hulk is different. He doesn't really count as a human sidekick.
I've actually been thinking about, there was a picture of Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner in the pictures as well. And people are wondering how it's going to work with him and Thor. They already said there's going to be a gladiator-style fight between the two of them. Now, I think I heard this film or the interview, whatever, where kind of they're thinking, in a sense, inspiration is that it's supposed to be kind of like a cross universe road trip with the two of them. And kind of inspiration, they said the drawing from is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, that would be
which
hilarious.
would be very interesting as well. And then there's some people who are like, oh, no, I don't want it to be funny, blah, blah, blah.
It's going to be a little bit funny, though.
Yeah.
That's how these movies... I mean, Marvel puts a little bit of funny. And you think about, in that first Thor movie, it wasn't, like, by any means a comedy. But there was enough little bits of humor that were so appropriate and great.
Yeah.
You know, just, like, little tiny things that were so funny.
They sprinkle them in.
And they're sprinkled in appropriately. It's not, like, slap you in the face funny. It's, like, just the right amount.
Some people were like, oh, I laughed, a couple times, so, they're not taking it seriously. I'm like, no, that's not it at all. They take the stuff seriously, but in any movie, I will say you got to have that little bit of comic relief just to break the ice, because you can't have a movie full of all that tension, and it just doesn't work.
It's a downer.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, a couple of criticisms so far in the pictures as well. One is Chris Hemsworth's short hair.
I love it.
She loves it, of course. So.
God, he looks so hot.
Okay, well, there you go. And like I said, he's got short hair right now in the comics, so there goes that. And the second one is Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster. He's got all this, like, bright makeup on. He's got, like, lip makeup, and, like, his costume is very bright and vibrant. And immediately they're comparing it to
The
Collector, of course, which they're said to be related as well, so that would make sense too. But it looks totally wild, and, like, for Jeff Goldblum, he can play those far-out characters. So I'm interested to see what he can do with that. And again, I think they are going to hint at a relation between him and the Collector in this one as well too, because it is a cosmic adventure, and that's going to run in with the Guardians of the Galaxy world as well too.
As well too.
You
said it like 6 times.
Well, that's what I do, okay? That's what I do. As we know, I can't pronounce names right. I can't read stuff right, okay? This is really just a crapshoot of a show. Doing the best I can here, okay? Gosh. All right, moving on. Last story as far as Marvel news. Marvel Comics' lineup of superhero titles will begin to appear on movie theater and television screens coming this spring as a new advertising campaign. The publisher has announced that they will advertise upcoming storylines ahead of their blockbuster films and on broadcast networks with, quote, the key goal of exciting and mobilizing TV and film fans into local comic book shops and retailers. Screenings of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 coming out in May is going to have a special pre-trailer advertisement of Marvel's 2007 event series Secret Empire that sees Captain America as a Hydra agent. And in front of the TV stuff, we're going to see spots for Secret Empire and the upcoming X-Men title Resurrection. Links to the local comic shop and Marvel digital stores are going to be included in these advertisements to aid fans in searching out these stories. So this is kind of a new thing now, where ever since comic books, films have been, kind of taken over the media, so to speak, we've seen this trend in comic books where whatever movie comes out, they change that comic to fit that movie, to where if a little kid goes see, say, Thor, they'll go be able to pick up a Thor comic book, and usually it'll be the same villain, or it'll be same type of character as they just saw in the movie to, help get them into the comic books. One thing that I always kind of irked me a little bit is when this trend first started was in X-Men, where the first X-Men movie came out and they're all in black leather, where usually they're in, colorful, bright costumes. But as soon as that movie came out, they all switched to black leather in the comic books as well. Also, sometimes, like, say, when the Spider-Man movie came out, I think it was Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. At the time, they went ahead and put Lizard, who was the villain in the movie, as the villain in that current comic storyline. So that way, when the kids saw the movie, or whoever goes pick up that comic book, the Lizard is the current villain in the current Spider-Man comic. Again, just all trying to get, people into comics, going from the movies to the comics to get more comic readers. Now it looks like they're taking a little different approach, where they're actually basically advertising the comic books with the films as well. Kind of more hands-on, I think, in that approach. But how do you see this going? Do you think it's a good idea, or do you think it seemed to be effective?
I mean, I don't know. I think if their goal is to sell more comic books, they need to make comic books a little bit cheaper.
I agree. I mean, that's kind of the reason.
They're so expensive.
That's the reason why I buy the digital ones.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, you go to the comic book shop now, and comic books are what? Like
$5 a pop. $5 a pop. For 22 pages.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Which, as you like to say, don't have many words.
They don't have many words. You know, and I mean, I'm just saying you can go to the actual bookstore and get your child an actual book that will help teach them to read.
Whoa,
And
whoa.
I'm just saying,
don't attack that.
You just said there's not a lot of words.
I learned to read too. I read a bunch of comics.
I'm not
when I was
saying
younger, that
that
helped
they're
me learn to
not.
read.
I'm not saying they're not entertaining and they won't necessarily get children interested in reading, but like at the end of the day, if you want to learn to read adequately, you need like actual books.
I disagree with that.
And they're cheap. They're basically the same price as a comic book, and it's a whole chapter story. Like and they're easier to get to because bookstores are everywhere. Comic book shops are not everywhere.
Which bookstores now carry comic books? So
they do.
They have for a while. At least.
That is also true. So I mean, it just seems like if they really want people to buy comic books, they need to make them more affordable.
Yeah.
Because I mean, kids, sure, they have a lot of pictures. They're gonna want to read comic books. I have no doubt. Kids are gonna say this is cool. But then the parents are gonna have to hunt down these comic shops and take them.
Yeah. Well,
and they're expensive.
Yeah, and that's what it says. Yeah, like it says, one of the things is at the end they're gonna show you where to find your local comic shop and where to find these titles at too.
Right, which is fine. But then the kids are gonna be like, "Daddy, you have to drive me all over town now and find these comic shops.
I have to go all the way over town.
$5 on this little tiny book. It's gonna take me 10 seconds to flip through." I mean,
it's your start. But
I've seen how you read comics. You can flip through a whole graphic novel in 10 seconds, sit in the bed next to me.
No. That was an exception. I was reading. It's a new one. I read usually like the first half or so, and then if I'm not on the storyline, I quit.
Regardless, it doesn't take you very long. Is my point.
It doesn't take you very. But that's kind of the nice thing I like about that compared to other books, of course, is like I can sit down for an hour and a half or an hour and read a whole storyline, whereas it takes 5 days to get through a book.
Yeah, but you get a lot more. Was I saying something?
Yes, you were talking about being able to to make them to be able to find the comic shop.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's not about finding it's not like comic shops are on every corner. I mean, and we could have a whole long discussion about the educational value of a comic book versus a book.
Oh, I would love to have that one
on this show. I'm not saying comic books are bad. If it's there are a lot of kids who don't want to read at all, and comic books are the only things that they will read. And so, by all means, that is a great source of educational material for a child who has no interest in reading. It's a gateway into education. But anyway, I'm digressing. I think it could work if comic books were cheaper.
Okay, I agree. I mean, for me, my evolution of comic reading in the last couple of years as well. I grew up reading single issues, of course. After I got back into comics as well, I went back to that. But through the years, I progressed from single issues to graphic novels to now digital comics. Why? Because going from say 6 issues of a comic book as one storyline, it's cheaper to just wait and get the full storyline. It's usually a couple dollars cheaper just to buy the whole storyline at once.
Or get it from the library.
Or the instance, of course, digital comics, I wait till those are on sale, and I can get a whole storyline for $4 or $5 just online, for the price of what one issue would cost. Mm-hmm. So, in that instance, bringing in the price might be a little better, but, I think this is a good way to try. It's an attempt to get people back into comics, get more new readers into comics. Again, I can go on a whole tangent about what pisses me off as an old-time reader about how they completely crap on us and, just to try to bring in new readers, which, guess what, really doesn't work that well. So you're just really pissing off us old fanboys. But anyway, okay, we're done with the storyline because I'm going to go on a tangent if I don't stop soon. Mm-hmm. So that's it as far as Marvel news. Jumping into DC news, guys, we have a new trailer for Wonder Woman that premiered at the 30th Kids' Choice Awards, introduced by Gal Gadot. Did I say it right? Gadot. There you go. And Chris Pine. I was talking to someone about it the other day, and someone said Gadot, and I said, no, it's Gadot.
It's Gadot.
Okay, so Gadot and Pine introduced the new trailer, and in this one we see some new footage that offers a look at Diana's childhood on Themyscira, more of her training at the hands of Robin Wright's character, I don't know how to say that, so I'll just skip it, and plenty of fighting. It's going to be directed by Patty Jenkins, comes out on June 2nd, and Wonder Woman tells the story of the Amazon princess who, after discovering the American fighter pilot Steve Trevor, played by Pine, washed ashore on Themyscira, she sets out to bring an early end to World War I, fighting alongside men in a war to end all war. Diana will discover her full powers and her true destiny.
Whose name could you not pronounce?
The Robin Wright's character is Anatope? Antiope could be that. It could be either one.
Who is that?
Huh? Robert Wright's character. Huh? She's like the head. She's the one who trains Diana in battle and stuff like that.
Oh, that's Robin Wright.
Yeah, that's Robert Wright. Yeah.
I didn't even know that was her.
Yeah, like in the first one, she's the one like when they're riding the horses on the beach. She's up front and center and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And
I didn't realize that was her.
Yeah. So all right. So new Wonder Woman, go.
I think it looks freaking awesome. My only criticism with the trailer, which I said as soon as we finished watching it, was I wish they hadn't again put that little quippy, jokey scene at the end. Like, I wish they would have just ended it with the da-na-na and the Wonder Woman thing and hadn't gone back to the, like, funny scene. Yeah. Like, the trailer up until that, I mean, I think the funny scenes are going to be there, and I'm going to be fine with those little tiny bits of funny in the, in the film. I'm sure those will be fine. But I just think that the trailer was so good. Yeah. And then they added that little bit at the end, and I was like, I
like they actually added the origin to it, you know? Yeah, you got a better sense of the character.
With her as a child, like, I didn't know that they were going to even go to that in the movie. So that, which it would have been kind of nice, I guess, to be surprised. Because now I feel like we kind of know.
But like, now I get I just feel like I get a better sense now of the character and what the story's going to be about as far as her origin. And I think it just helps add. Again, the advertisement, the first trailer they showed at Comic-Con last year, I thought was, got me excited about it. The second one was, This one I liked a lot because, again, it did show kind of the early parts of it, her childhood, her origin story, and, how she kind of grew up to get that mindset to go off to war in that sense. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it got me excited. I wasn't a big fan of that little joke at the end there as well.
I mean, I think it's cute. I just wish they wouldn't have put it in the trailer.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought that trailer had a lot of really. I mean, it just kind of showed. It just. I really am looking forward to Wonder Woman.
I'm just again my worries, of course, are Gal Gadot.
I mean, even the bits that she talks in the trailer, I'm just like,
yeah, exactly. And then, of course, just the fact that the pressure on this film, because again, the DC movies haven't been really critically praised, so to speak. So that puts pressure on it. Plus, being it's Wonder Woman, the most famous female superhero, of course, and also the first female DC superhero. It's got a lot of pressure on it, and that's what I feel bad about this film. But from what I've seen, it looks like it could be okay, but I think we're just gonna have to wait and see. This trailer definitely, gives me a little hope for it. We'll just have to, see how it goes. The trailer though looked fantastic. Excited for it, and we'll go from there. So, and that's the only piece of DC news we got, guys. Let me reset. Okay, I'm reset. All right, so moving on to Star Wars news. We don't really have Star Wars news except for one little bit I just want to talk about. Well, two little bits. One is that they announced this last week that there will be no Star Wars Celebration next year.
What?
Yeah. So since they started back up in 2015 with Disney buying Lucasfilm and kind of the reinvigoration of Star Wars with all the books and movies and stuff like that. Now this year in Orlando is going to be the 12th celebration, which I find funny because 12 is my lucky number, and we're actually going this year for the first time. But Star Wars Celebration started back in 1999 with the release of Episode 1, and although there's been 18 years since, this is only going to be the 12th one, so it hasn't been every year. So people are just kind of thought it was a little weird that they're going to skip a year at least, but it kind of makes sense in the fact that there hasn't been one every year since 1999. But then again, people are like, well, since Star Wars is so big right now.
Well, now they're doing the movies again. But a lot of those years they weren't doing films. And they weren't doing, there wasn't a lot as much as there is right now. Yeah, exactly. And also, I think it has a lot to do, talking about on Jedi Council, where now that they're part of the Disney machine, I mean, there's D23, the Disney actual convention, every other year, which I thought maybe that was going to be like D23 one year, Celebration the next year, but D23 is this year as well. So that's not it. But you got to think, you also have Comic-Cons, WonderCons, all the other, geeky convention things where you can show Star Wars stuff as well. So to get Star Wars Celebration every year and then still have those Star Wars fans hopefully expecting something from all the other cons, it's a lot, even for, all the Star Wars stuff we're getting out this year. So to take a year off kind of makes sense, but, I get the point.
of it in that respect.
Yeah.
So.
Whatever. I'm super excited for Celebration.
Oh my God! So excited for Celebration. We got 1 month to go.
Not even a whole month.
Not even a whole month. I mean, we did less than a month before we go, but like a month from today is actually Celebration. So that'll be awesome. All right. So last piece of Marvel's news. I just want to talk a little bit about the anticipated Star Wars Rebels episode coming out Saturday. This is the episode everyone's been waiting for since we saw that mid-season trailer with Maul and Obi-Wan look like they're going to have a showdown, possibly a final showdown, I guess you could say. People are expecting Maul might bite the dust in this
obviously one. Obi-Wan doesn't.
Obviously Obi-Wan doesn't, yeah, exactly.
Spoiler!
Now before that, what do you think of this last week's episode? Because I
really liked it.
Okay,
But, I like the droids more than I think most people like the droids.
See, I'm not a big droid fan. Mm-hmm. Where they started to go with this episode was, okay, Chopper got taken over and, he was kind of, turned against the rebel crew. If they went somewhere with it outside, like if they were to continue that storyline outside the episode, if they went somewhere with it, continued it, I would say, okay, I got it. I like it. But it's those self-contained episodes that don't really add anything to the bigger season storyline that I don't like. Mm-hmm. Is what it is. I like the interaction with Chopper and that new droid.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but I like him.
Yeah, because they kind of have that C-3PO R2 vibe going on now.
Yeah.
But if they took it and they went somewhere with it, which say they won't, not to say they won't, but if it doesn't add something to the bigger storyline, I call those filler or throwaway episodes. Mm-hmm. And the fact they have 22 or 20 episodes per season now, again, I'm becoming not a fan of that many episodes, even on the CW shows or stuff like that, because I'm so used now to cable shows like Game of Thrones or, the Netflix series where they have 10 to 13 episodes. They're so self-contained, you don't have those filler episodes. And that's kind of what I thought this episode was, a filler episode. One good takeaway I thought about this episode was Hera. I loved when, she's had Chopper for many years now, her, faithful companion, her friend. She has, a love for, Chopper. And when she found out that Chopper was being taken over, you could see she was upset. She was pissed off. I like seeing that, different reaction from her in that regards. It's like if your dog turned against you or something, you'd be really upset about that, wouldn't you?
Of course I would. Mercy Moo can't turn against me.
And then a lot of big criticism, of course, was the ending there where the droid was out in space and he started singing.
I know. I thought that was so funny, though. And then, when they started to pick him up again, and he was like, oh, no.
So I watched Rebels review on Collider, and Christian Harloff, who runs it, absolutely hated this episode. He hated it. He thought it was a filler. He thought it was stupid. He thought the singing was stupid. I see there's some good parts to it, things that I found entertaining. But overall, when I go to rewatch the season I'm probably going to skip this one.
This is a filler, yes. But at the end of the day, if you really are a fan of Star Wars, then you can enjoy all the bits and pieces of Star Wars. You can enjoy
aspects of it.
Right, that's what I mean. So just because it didn't necessarily progress the story, sure, it would have been it's better. It would be better if every single episode was 100% related to the overall thing. I mean, look at the grand picture, how infrequently we've seen Thrawn this season. I mean, I think they've completely wasted Thrawn thus far. I mean, he's going to have a big moment coming soon because we've hardly seen him. I mean, really, he's been hardly at all in Rebels.
I don't think we're going to see him in this next episode because this one's going to be focused on Maul.
Right, but he'll be in the finale.
But in the finale, I think when he finally makes his move, and I just saw on YouTube, somebody put out they had a commercial for the season finale. Mm-hmm. And remember when the episode description is that Ezra goes somewhere to try to find help for the Battle of Thal? Well, they showed Sabine. Mm-hmm. So that's what I imagine they'll probably write.
I mean, I just look at it if you think about a whole series of a TV show, it's like reading a novel. Uh-huh. And there are bits and pieces in every novel that you read that are kind of filler. That's just how it goes. But you don't hate those scenes. They just add to the overall story.
Give it a little depth. Exactly. Like, with this episode, I would say it adds a little of the Chopper story, a little of the Harris story.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of these. So, they're I guess you could call them fillers in a sense, but they're part of the story. They're giving you a deeper appreciation and understanding of what's going on in general. I mean, this scene was showing you bits and pieces about the Imperials, about the people that are running, those watchers or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
People who are seeing everything. I mean, it's showing you.
Again, another depth, because we don't see many of those characters except for, say, Lobot with Lando, and they kind of go into a little bit of description on Rebels Recon, more about this type of people and their jobs and what happened to them and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, what people who complain about these kind of episodes, they would be the kind of person that picked up a novel and only read the page if they saw Ezra's name on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what people are getting aggravated about, is when every episode is not directly related to Kanan and Ezra and exactly what's happening with them.
Yeah, I mean,
which isn't how a story should be. There are other pieces.
To be fair, that's the part I enjoy most.
I know. I'm not saying that I don't too, but everything else adds to it.
Yeah.
It's like when I read Harry Potter books, there are bits and pieces that are not about Harry, but they're still relevant to the story. They may not be as interesting as the bits that are about Harry, but they add to the overall experience of the thing, of the story, of the journey, whatever. And that's what I think these episodes are. The droids have an important part to play. And even if they're not, the Skywalkers, or they're not Jedi or whatever, they still have an important piece of the puzzle, and understanding them and learning how they work and how they interact with their people, I think is an important thing to I like them because they add to the story. But then again, I love reading the books because I like all the pieces. I like getting the whole thing. That's why I don't like comics.
What is that? Why did you bring comics into it? What does that have to do with it?
I just had to throw that in.
So wait a minute. Go. No. Time out. So you're comparing that they don't do that in comics? They don't support the characters?
No, I'm not saying that they don't at all. I'm just saying when you only have a little tiny thing, it's the highlights. It's the most important pieces. It's not all the details. That's what I've told you before. Why I have trouble with comics. It's because it's not all the details.
Nope. Wrong. Okay, that's what. No, they don't do it as much anymore as they used to. But thought bubbles in comics, that's where you used to get a lot of that stuff. Like,
but they don't do that anymore. I've tried to read some comics recently.
They do it some, not as much as they used to, but they did it a lot more. But they do still do it to give you that little bit of extra character insight. No. All right, guys. So let's jump off of Star Wars here. We're going into miscellaneous news just to finish it off. All right. So the highly anticipated Star Trek TV series coming out, Star Trek Discovery, has cast their captain, and it's none other than actor Jason Isaacs. Now, this one is set to be a little different compared to other Star Trek TV shows, to where it's not going to focus on the captain as the main character, but as different characters, actually. I guess this one's going to start off with the lieutenant, played by Sequoia Martin Green. Again, I'm bad at pronouncing names. As the lieutenant commander. Now, most Star Trek shows have, all Star Trek shows have been where the captain is the main character, all the way from Captain Kirk to Captain Archer, but this one is going to be a little different. Actually, they said that this one's going to follow different characters and different ranks on a few different starships as they all navigate one unifying or divisive incident. Isaacs, people think, are kind of an interesting choice. He's definitely got the talent to pull off the captain role and embody the virtues of a Federation captain, but people are also kind of curious because he's mostly playing bad guys in a lot of his roles. Most famously, he played Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter films.
He plays some good guys.
He's also voice acted the Grand Inquisitor in Star Wars Rebels and Admiral Zhao in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
He does play good bad guys, though.
Star Trek Discovery is set to be released May this year on CBS. So, Jason Isaacs, Star Trek, go.
I'm not a big Star Trek fan. I have zero interest in watching Star Trek show.
He's a good actor. He can pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, I love Jason Isaacs. He's great. I
mean, I'm more interested about, they say, where it's like, characters of different ranks and different starships navigate one unifying or divisive incident. So it's like going to be one event, at least maybe for the first season, one event maybe told from everyone's perspective, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll let you watch it and tell me what you think. I mean, I think the casting choice is fine, but yeah. I don't really have any interest in watching it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been a huge Star Trek fan. I like the films, the new ones, but I've tried to watch some of the older shows, not the old ones, but I've tried to watch several of them, and I just can't.
Even I can't get it. Like, I think Star Trek: Next Generation is my favorite, but even then, I can't just sit and watch the whole thing. There are certain episodes that I really enjoy, but just sitting down and watching the series, I just can't go episode for episode. Not my cup of tea. That's why Star Wars is better. All right, guys. So right now we are joined by our resident Doctor Who expert, Miss Lourdes Manny. Lourdes, thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So last night they premiered a new Doctor Who trailer in front of the FA Cup quarterfinal soccer match on BBC. Now this trailer in particular had a scene with the new companion Bill comparing the TARDIS to the console room to a kitchen.
I know, it's
and
crazy.
Then it was followed by a scene with a succession of images from the series' first few episodes featuring futuristic space stations. Man, I can't talk right now. The surface of Mars, robots that speak emoji, human Daleks, and an adventure that takes place in 1814. There are also glimpses of new-looking ice warriors, some old-style Cybermen, and what it looks like some classic sonic screwdriver of a design not seen since the show's revival in 2005. Now, the trailer lasts about a minute and ends with the banner, "A Time for Heroes," which is also a phrase that is included in a hashtag on the Doctor Who Twitter site. Also, it was revealed that the first title for the first episode of the new season is going to be titled, quote, "The Pilot." And as most of you know, this will also be the last season for Capaldi as the Doctor, correct?
And the last season for Moffat.
For Moffat as well, exactly. So the season is set to premiere on BBC One on Saturday, April 15th. Features Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, Pearl Mackie as Bill Potts, and Matt Lucas as Nardole? Nardole, okay. So I watched the trailer. I had no idea what I was watching, of course, because I don't watch Doctor Who. But that's why we have Lourdes here to run through it. So, Lourdes, what did you think of the trailer? What stood out for you? Let us know your thoughts.
I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be like an old school season, just one adventure after the other. And they look like they're really going to be good. There's a lot of kind of old stuff coming back in different forms, which, people want. Like those robots with the emoji faces. Remind me, anyway, a lot of the robots that Amy ran into in Alopecia in The Girl Who Waited. They kind of, especially where the world is all white all around them. That's very similar to that. And then, of course, Bill says they're going to Mars, so they're in Mars. And then you see the Ice Warriors, and they're the kind of old style, or almost like the original Ice Warriors, but with an update, but not like the ones we saw with Matt Smith. So that was kind of cool. And then you also saw those pyramids. There was a pyramid at one point, and you don't know if that's Egypt or it might be Mars, because of course one of the episodes was the pyramids of Mars. So who knows?
Okay.
Who knows? That might be also part of the Mars. And they've got a new spacesuit. Holy Capaldi! A new spacesuit. They've used the same old orange spacesuit for like generations, and now there's a new spacesuit. So that was pretty cool. Also, when they land and she says they're in 1814, you think, oh my gosh, they always have to do one episode in the Victorian era. Although 1814 is actually pre-Victorian, it's really Georgian.
Close enough.
But they also always have to do one, back then. And you do see space stations and submarines and a lot of really cool, real different stuff. The Cyberman that you see is classic Mundasian or Mundasian. People say it differently. Cybermen, which is the ones that looks like they have a sock on their head and an air conditioner on their chest. Oh my God. I love the new Cybermen. I even love Neil Gaiman's Cybermen, which a lot of people don't. But anyway, it'll be cool. And also throwback when Nardole has a Sonic thrown at him, and it's the fourth Doctor Sonic, which is cool. So they're bringing back a lot of little things from the old, classic series, which is kind of cool. And at one point, you see the three of them also standing in front of like a checkpoint or a border, and that looks like Unit. So Unit looks like it's going to be part of the series as well. And Missy, you see Missy. Her hair looks a little bit different. It's kind of hard to tell, but she's in there. And they do give you one look at one of the most well-known guest stars they're going to have this year. They're going to have David Suchet, and you do see him with like a tuning fork saying it's time. So we don't know what that's about, whether he has anything to do with the Time Lords or what. We don't know.
Now, do they... I'm not sure, Joe. So do they... At the end of the season, like say it is Capaldi's last season, at the end of the final episode, do they switch over or do they wait for the new season to switch over? Like, do you see the change all the time?
Yeah, no. Sometimes you see it the last episode of the season, but more often... well, not more often than not, but with Matt Smith, and then also with with David Tennant, you saw it through the Christmas episode.
Okay.
So
but you don't always see him change from one actor to another.
you do see
Okay.
it, but it's not always the last episode of the season. Sometimes it's the Christmas episode, which will be after that. There'll be a Christmas episode.
After
Because
this?
this is going to be, I don't know, 12 episodes?
Or
maybe not that many.
I thought it was like 10 episodes.
10
I believe.
episodes. So then there'll be a gap, and then we'll have a Christmas episode.
Okay.
And so we don't know if we'll see the change now or at Christmas.
Okay.
Actually, Tennant was right before the Christmas episode. He
Uh-huh.
was the last one. Yeah. And then there was a little web thing between them, a little web, which they don't do anymore. They don't do those little web
episodes?
the web mini-sodes, and they were awesome. I mean, there's like a ton of them, and they're really good. They really make things go between one and the other, kind of link.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't know for sure, but it might be the last episode, or we might have to wait.
Okay,
So it
okay.
depends on what they do. Also, another really cool thing was that personified Dalek. There was a Dalek, but it was a human.
Yeah, that's what it said.
And
Human
it was,
Dalek.
and it
What's
was
that?
wet. Yeah, because they've had human Dalek mixes before, where the eye stalk comes out of the people's foreheads.
Uh-huh.
But this is like a real human talking and floating like a Dalek. So, and she was like all wet, which I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But that's good. I don't know. I think it sounds like it's going to be cool, exciting. Capaldi's last season was very exciting.
Oh, at least his phone's going off. Go like. Anyway, all right. So premieres April 5th. The new Doctor Who season's coming. So Lourdes, before we go, I just gotta ask you a quick question. Now, the season's not even started, and of course, there are rumors flying around about who's going to be the next Doctor.
Yeah.
There's the guy who played Q in the new James Bond that used to be the head honcho or the front runner. Last week or the week before, I heard Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, but
there are a lot of. I mean, of course, they're just throwing out names and stuff like that. I mean, do you want to see it move up to either like an African American, like say Idris Elba, or a female character? I mean.
I kind of get slack for this, but I really don't care. I don't care. I think if whoever's been casting, the casting director has been the same one since the news who came back, and I have loved everything that this person has done. So I really don't care. It doesn't make any difference to me. Whoever they think is going to be the best one. I really don't think it's going to be a woman. I think it'll be a person of color before it's a woman. I do think that's good, but whatever. It doesn't matter. And all these names are being thrown around. These people have too many other things on their plate.
They're throwing
There's no
around
way
like
they're gonna
big
do
name
this.
actors. They need people, someone that's not as well known. I think.
And Doctor Who's a huge commitment. They filmed for 9 months in Cardiff. Very few people can do that. It's a huge commitment. So. I don't think it's going to be anybody we really know from something else, and I don't think it's going to be a woman. It might be a person of color, maybe, but I don't really care. I think if they think this person's going to make a good
just the
doctor,
best person for the job.
I'm on board. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Lourdes, thanks for stopping by.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay, last piece of news for today, just very quickly, I wanted to say something that Lisa will probably have no comment about. Netflix has renewed Voltron Legendary Defender for another season. This was announced a few weeks ago at New York Toy Fair and is reported by Den of Geek, where they saw a poster advertising that Netflix's Voltron Legendary Defender will return for a new season in September of this year and will be 13 episodes. Now, Voltron is based off the old 1984 series Voltron Defender of the Universe, which was coming from an anime show, an adaptation called Beast King Go Lions. The second season of Voltron Legendary Defender was adapted from the completely unrelated Armored Fleet Dragar 15. Okay. But in any event, as a guy who has been watching Voltron Legendary Defender and was a fan of the original Defender of the Universe series, I am ecstatic about it, guys. If you like a good sci-fi show, I highly recommend picking this up. It's only 2 seasons, 13 episodes. Both seasons have been great. The end of season 2 left us on a great cliffhanger, which if you know the original Defenders of the Universe source material, you're going to be totally excited about it, how season 2 ends. But I am kind of curious, of course, because even Netflix series, they'll have it where, each year you get another season or another 13 episodes. Voltron has been coming out with pretty much a season every 6 months. They started out with last summer with season 1. In the fall, you got, what was it, with January? I think it was January was released. They released season 2. And then you got, in September, less than a year later, you're going to get season 3. So I'm totally fine with that. Totally fine with getting another season as soon as possible. Super excited about it. Again, I'm saying this because you need to watch it. It's a great show, great characters, great story. And again, kind of going back to commenting about Rebels, how it's on a network that gives you 22 episodes. This is 13 episodes. There are no filler, quote-unquote filler episodes in this. And it's just overall a great storyline. I'm super excited about it. So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for us today. I'd like to thank Lourdes for coming on and talking a little Doctor Who with us. I'm not very knowledgeable about that subject matter, so I always like to bring her in to fill in the gaps on stuff I'm not that knowledgeable about. In any event, that's going to be it. Let us know what you guys think as well. What do you think about Star Wars Celebration skipping here? What do you think about the Thor Ragnarok pictures from Entertainment Weekly? And of course, let us know what your stance is on R-rated comic book films and the ludicrousy of thinking every comic book film now has to be R-rated. Hit us up, Facebook group, Twitter, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. And that's going to be it for us. Next time you see us, guys, we will have seen the Star Wars Rebels Obi-Wan Maul episodes. So you can bet your behind that we are going to be reviewing that. I'm also going to do, I think this weekend, I'm off all weekend. It's St. Patty's, so I'm going to be busy a little bit on Friday. But I'm going to do a little review of Iron Fist, I think, as well this weekend. So be on the lookout for that. I'll probably post that Sunday night or Monday morning. So it gives you all weekend to watch the season and then see what I had to think about each episode as well. What else? Oh, Beauty and the Beast, of course, comes out this weekend. Lisa and I have already got our tickets. We're going Saturday morning. I'll probably be hungover, but we'll probably talk briefly about that as well next week. So a lot of stuff going on this weekend, guys. Be sure to hit us up next week so you can see all of our thoughts about it and let us know what you think as well. Lisa, anything else you want to add as you're getting ready to go and not even sitting here?
Nope, thanks.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. All right. So until next time, may the Force be with us all.